Today on NewsCenter, get an update of the construction taking place on Morehead's campus, see how Governor Matt Bevin's budget cuts could be affecting students, and meet the MSU basketball team's biggest fans. All this and more today on NewsCenter.
Good evening and welcome to NewsCenter. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nick Oliver.
And I'm Mary Dameron. Here's what's making headlines for February 18th, 2016.
First tonight, NewsCenter investigates presidential candidates are targeting college students by focusing on issues such as tuition rates. But are students paying attention? NewsCenter's Chad Hedrick joins us from the NewsCenter newsroom with millennials and politics.
Yeah, that's right. This could be the year of the millennials for the 2016 presidential race. College students are being targeted more than any other age group, and some candidates are actually resonating with college students and getting their attention. But the real question is, are the millennials connecting the dots and making a decision?
It's no secret that the 2016 presidential race has become one of the most heated and entertaining races in many cycles. At one point, 17 candidates were running for the Republican nomination. Now we're down to 6. While on the Democrat side, Martin O'Malley's suspension of his campaign after poor results in the Iowa caucus leaves Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton to duke it out until the Democrat National Convention in July.
But what is it that voters, especially millennials voting for the first time, are looking for in a candidate? Is it someone with a sharp tongue like Donald Trump? Or someone that's anti-establishment like Bernie Sanders? Or even someone that comes from a family of former presidents like Jeb Bush?
Someone who knows about the economy and foreign affairs, and probably somebody who has had experience in government and governing at some point.
It's probably the most frequently asked question of the campaign, and it's one many political commentators and experienced journalists just don't know the answer to. Why is Donald Trump doing so well in the polls? Trump was polling 29% before the Iowa caucus, but only pulled in about 24% of the votes, falling to Texas Senator Ted Cruz with 28%.
He's a really brilliant marketer, really. I've always appreciated that, but as far as his policy goes, I've never really appreciated what he does. But if you say something outrageous that you're not used to politicians hearing, sometimes people will see that and say, oh, I agree with that, or I like this guy, he says what I think.
But Trump came back and won big in New Hampshire. According to CNN exit polls in the New Hampshire primary, Trump scored 38% of the 18 to 29 vote amongst Republicans. Ted Cruz came in second with just 17%. On the Democrat side, Bernie Sanders snatched 83% of the millennial vote, with Hillary Clinton getting only 16%. So what has millennials feeling the burn?
I do support Bernie Sanders. I like him, more than Hillary Clinton. I'll say that. I think she's a little bit too flippy-floppy.
Now, though this campaign has been controversial and definitely history-making, this race is far from over. And really, with Americans just now going to the polls in primaries and caucuses, things are just getting started.
All right, Chad, thanks. Registered Republicans in Kentucky will actually caucus for this election cycle on March 5th. This is because Kentucky state law says a candidate cannot appear more than once on a ballot, and former presidential candidate Rand Paul was running for both president and re-election in the Senate. Senator Paul actually proposed this to Kentucky Republican Party, who voted to make the switch. Senator Paul paid for this switch to happen, only to suspend his campaign after coming 5th in the Iowa caucus. Registered Democrats will still vote in a presidential primary in May.
Governor Matt Bevin's recent budget address for the Commonwealth could have a big impact on Morehead State. NewsCenter reporter Courtney Howe has more.
Governor Matt Bevin recently delivered his proposed budget to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. His plan included steep budget cuts to public higher education. So what does this mean for Morehead State University? Governor Bevin's plan includes a 4.5% budget cut in the current fiscal year, followed by a 9% cut in fiscal year 2017. NewsCenter caught up with Chief Financial Officer and Vice President for Administration, Beth Patrick.
In the governor's first pass at the budget. He had recommended that we take significant budget cuts, 4.5% in the current year, which is about $1.9 million for Moorhead, and an additional 9% or $3.8 million in this next budget year, so it would be July 1. Those would be really difficult for us to do.
NewsCenter also spoke with Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Stephen Ralston.
The other piece of this is, and the President's been very clear about this, there is going to be a Moorhead State University after this. We have to plan for that university, you know. If the cuts go through as predicted, will we be the same? No. And they're really deep, very deep. But we will survive. So how can we plan for meeting those financial demands and at the same time position the institution to kind of be where it needs to be at the end of this?
Dr. Alston said the university is taking steps toward a plan of action concerning the budget cuts.
Right. So the President has put together a task force. It's broad-based. Faculty, staff, administrators, represent the entire campus who are meeting. We've met once. We're meeting twice a week, once on Wednesday and then on Saturday. So we're working on Saturdays to develop recommendations for whatever we might face. You know,
MSU students received an email from President Andrews encouraging them to take action by contacting Kentucky's elected officials through an advocacy site, Fund the Solution.
Higher education is really the solution to many of the problems that the governor and others have indicated. So Fund the Solution is a way to make that. We are asking folks on their own to, tell their story, why education is so important to them, what it did for them, what it's doing for them.
Dr. Ralston encourages people not to speculate the outcomes of the budget cut concerning the university. He says that the plan should be laid out by late spring. Reporting for NewsCenter, I'm Courtney Howell.
MSU employees were told Friday to take immediate steps to cut expenditures to an absolute minimum for the balance of the current fiscal year. The Moorhead News reports, with the university facing an enrollment shortfall and the state's budget cut of millions of dollars, MSU needs to make major reductions to balance out the budget. Because of this, most personnel and job vacancies have been frozen, and expenditures for things such as supplies, equipment, and travel are postponed until further notice.
Last Thursday, a Kentucky Senate committee approved a bill requiring that doctors perform an ultrasound and describe the image to women who are seeking an abortion. The ultrasound bill, also known as Senate Bill 152, passed through Senate Veterans, Military Affairs, and Public Protection Committee on an 11-to-1 vote. Senator Whitney Westerfield from Hopkinsville says the bill would require an ultrasound to be shown to a woman seeking an abortion. The bill would not require the woman to actually look at the ultrasound, but would require the doctor to explain what the image is. Any doctor who would violate this law could be fined $100,000 for the first offense and $250,000 for repeated offenses.
Coming up, Chris Horn is in the NewsCenter Weather Center with your forecast.
And later, we're meeting a couple with a love story that started right here at MSU. Stick around.
Yo, why you looking at bags, bro? What you need is a chick magnet. You put me in the room and boom, chicks. That's what I'm talking about.
And welcome back to NewsCenter. As we take a look today in Moorhead, it is clear with the temperature sitting at 43 degrees. And we'll now take a look at our record temperatures throughout the history. And the high for today, set back in 1927, was 75 degrees. Really, really warm. And back in 1936, it was -3 degrees. Whew, that's really chilly. And as you can take a look at our normal low and normal high, normal low, we're somewhat over that limit right now. As we go look at temperatures throughout the Commonwealth, Monticello sitting at 51 degrees, Bowling Green sitting at 54, Fort Knox sitting at 48, Louisville sitting right at 48 as well. And now we'll take a look at our first alert weather radar, brought to you by WKYT, and it is clear throughout Kentucky. And going through the weekend as well, it will be. But as we all know of Kentucky, this right here could change really fast. And now as we take a look at our advisories, watches, and warnings, we have none throughout here at the state of Kentucky. And that's what it's going to look like here for the next probably week. And as for tonight, it's going to be partly cloudy, sitting in the mid-30s, sunset sitting at about 6:10. And now, back to Nick at the NewsCenter.
If you're a Moorhead State basketball fan, you are sure to recognize this couple in this week's Around the Hills. Meet the Niemeyers. For the Niemeyers, the vows they shared on their wedding day 28 years ago are some of the same vows they share today, but with the Moorhead State basketball program, especially for better or for worse. The Niemeyers have not missed a home boys or girls game in over 15 years. They wear the same thing each game, a neon green hoodie covered with the signatures of beloved basketball players. Each game arriving 1 hour early to greet the players and hold up their signs during the game to remind the players where their number one fans are sitting. But where did this love begin? Barbara, a graduate of Fort Hays State in Kansas and a doctorate degree from Arizona State, and Rocky, a graduate of rival Eastern Kentucky University and just a kid from Florence, Kentucky. Barbara had just been hired fresh out of college as a professor for the College of Education, and Rocky was accepted into the graduate program here at Moorhead State University. Rocky walked into class his first day and walked out in love.
Well, she's a real worker back then.
Rocky and Barbara began dating after he was finished with their class and were married a few months later. Since then, the love has never ended, and neither has the memories and adventures. Both Barbara and Rocky have retired, and now they put their focus in showing the boys and girls basketball teams support through not just being fans, but a shoulder to lean on.
When you think about grandparents, think about how they're always loving and caring and always got a smile on their face and always have an uplifting word, and that's them. That's them to a T.
And when the season is over, they hit the road to travel and find something else to get into.
He played golf. I played golf, and then but we travel. We go to North Carolina fishing.
They both have a unique love for each other that carries over into Johnson Arena. For the Niemeyers, going to these games is not about watching the Eagles take home a win. It's about the relationships they build. Proof that is shown on their jackets of not players, but friends. A friend group that I was lucky enough to get to be part of. The ending buzzer never means the end for the Niemeyers. It's just the beginning of the countdown until they see their friends one more time.
Yes! 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 Yes!
And just a side note, before the Belmont game, Rocky told me that Moorhead would beat Belmont by 1 point, which they did. We'll have highlights from that game coming up in a bit. We'll be right back.
My name is Scotty Purnell. I've been here 9 years. We take the trash out of the buildings and put it in the garbage truck. In there, the chute is way up high on the wall where the trash comes out into the buggy. And you have to take a big iron hook, reach up and hook the trash, and it's falling down towards you. It's not a boring job. It's, you can get out and talk. We're always finding something very interesting. You never know what you're going to find in the trash. I like my job very much.
Dude, where you been out all day?
Breckenridge Hall.
What's so cool about Breckenridge Hall?
And welcome back to NewsCenter. And right now, current temperatures in Moorhead is 43 degrees. It is clear outside. Humidity sitting at 53%. Winds about 5 miles to the southeast. And now we'll take a look at current temperatures. Lexington sitting here at 45 degrees. We'll go down to Louisville over here, 48 degrees. And now we'll take a look over here towards the north, looking at Covington, which is 43 degrees. On down south to Somerset, sitting at 46 degrees. London, 48. Millsboro sitting right at 50 degrees. And when you take a look up here at where Moorhead, it's 41 degrees. Looking at our first alert weather radar, it is clear. A little bit of some clouds here and there throughout the Commonwealth. And now we'll take a look at tonight, which would be partly cloudy with a low sitting at 30 degrees. Sunset's going to be about 6:20 tonight. So you're going to have a beautiful shot at that sunset tonight, right next to your partner or whoever you're with. And as we take a look into tomorrow, 60 degrees. Woo! Get them shorts out. It is really going to be warm. Breezy and mild. Sunrise is going to be sitting right at almost at 7:25. You're going to have a really good look at that sunrise. And now, as we take a look at our 7-day forecast, heading into the weekend, it will be in the 60s. But as you can tell, it will be dropping back down as we go on through the week with more chances of rain in the forecast. And take a look into Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have more of a chance of thunderstorms. And then heading into your Thursday, we'll not see the storms, and we'll be mainly seeing clouds, sun.
Chris, you better believe I'm cracking out the shorts this weekend.
Oh, geez, 60, that's not near enough warm for me, guys. I don't know.
Spring will be right around the corner.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Now let's send it over to Kenzie Thompson with Eagle Athletics.
Your home for the Moorhead State Eagles. This is NewsCenter Sports.
Moorhead State men's basketball team defeated rival Eastern Kentucky University last Thursday in Johnson Arena. The Eagles defeated the Colonels 61-50. The Eagles now have an overall record of 13-11 and 7-5 in conference play. MSU out-rebounded EKU 34-27, had 21 second chance points, and scored 19 points off of turnovers alone. The Colonels reached a record high 25 turnovers forced by Eagles, which is the most miscues the Eagles have had all season. The Eagles' win over the Colonels in this game is the first time the Eagles have beaten them since the 2011-2012 season. We talked to Coach Sean Woods to get his post-game reactions.
Well, we've been, at the beginning, our first 12, 15 games, we were one of the top 20 defensive teams in the country. Not just in OVC, in the country. And for some of our injuries kind of plagued us a little bit. Fouling kind of plagued us a little bit. So I think our guys kind of got a little gun shy, and also we weren't as deep. I just challenged our guys, said, look, we hang our head on defense. You know, we can't give them threes, make them drive us, but we got to move our feet. I challenge you to guard your yard. And I thought our guys played as good as defense, especially one-on-one, guarding the ball, clogging up the lanes, getting back to shooters as good as we played all year. We really moved our feet against both of those guys. We made them take extra bounces, extra spins. They were traveling. You know, Rochelle had 7 turnovers. Nick had 4 turnovers. That's 11 turnovers with your best players. When your best players are turning over like that, it kind of demoralizes you mentally a little bit. We got under them, frustrated them, especially in the first half, and it kind of went over to the second half too. But as long as you play defense, create extra possession, and you hustle, we have a chance because we are athletic enough to do that. And I thought the guys that came off the bench showed that, was very mindful, discipline-wise on both ends of the court. We didn't turn the ball over. And we got the ball where it needed to be, good high percentage shots, and that's what happened tonight. That's how we're going to win games. Dominate the glass, defend, and until we become a high-powered offense again when Corbin, Miguel, and Xavier are playing. But you got drivers and you got finishers, and we're able to do that, especially down the stretch.
The coach says that the team needs to continue this intensity in order to move forward in conference play. On Saturday, Morehead State's men's basketball team beat out Belmont in Johnson Arena with 9.5 seconds left in the game. Senior forward Anthony Alici stepped to the line with the Eagles trailing 77-76. He hit both shots from the free throw line, giving the Eagles a 78-77 lead. Senior guard Brent Arrington tied a career high with 24 points to surpass the 1,000-point scoring mark and help propel the Eagles to a win. He shot 9 of 15 from the floor and 3 of 5 from three-point range as he played the majority of the second half in foul trouble. Alici finished with 11 points and 7 rebounds, 6 of which came on the offensive glass. The Eagles moved their record to 15-11 and 8-5 in OVC play. Belmont remains on top in the OVC with an 18-9 record, and they are 10-3 in the OVC. The two teams repeated results from last year as each team won at home. The Morehead State men's basketball squad took down St. Catherine Tuesday night in the last non-conference game of the 2016 season. The Eagles scored a season-high 105 points, shooting 56% from the floor. 6 Eagles scored in double digits. The team earned 26 assists and tied their season-high 15 steals. The bench played an important role in Morehead's victory as well, outscoring the St. Catherine bench 57-8. Senior guard Jared Ravenscraft finished with 12 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals, all career highs. Senior forward Anthony Alici also put down 10 points and 7 rebounds with only 14 minutes of play. This victory brings the Eagles to an impressive 11-2 conclusion at home. The Eagles have 2 OVC conference games before the postseason, the first of which is a rematch tonight against Tennessee State at 7 p.m. Nick and Mary will be back with more news right after this.
It never gets old, huh?
Nope.
It kind of makes you wanna...
Breaking the song?
Yup. I love the sunset.
I love Eagle Lake.
I love the forest. I love when eagles play.
I love the campus!
And all its sights and sounds.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
I love philosophy.
We love diversity. I love English.
And all its weird words.
I love the music.
And all its melodies. Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
I love fraternities.
I love sororities.
I love to draw things.
And all the athletes.
I love Morehead.
It's such a pretty place.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
Addison, why are you dressed up like that?
Because you're in a dream, John.
How can you prove that?
Your body's still there.
What?
Wake up and smell the coffee. Java City.
Morehead State University has several renovation projects already underway, but there's still more to come. NewsCenter's Alexis Matthews has more.
As the Residence Hall renovation project is part of a 10-year capital master plan that began in 2005. I was able to speak to Chief Financial Officer and VP for Administration, Beth Patrick, about the project.
The university at that time worked with a national firm, Dunleavy, to develop a campus master plan for our housing. They came on campus and they interviewed students. They spent a lot of time in our residence halls. They evaluated the condition of the halls and so forth, and they helped us develop a 10-year plan of what needed to be renovated, what needed to be constructed new, and there were a couple that actually need to be torn down.
Each year, a new phase in the master plan has been conducted. It started with tearing down Wilson and Regents halls, then moved on to renovating the remaining dorms.
Now we're in the next to the last project phase, and that is construction of the new hall that you see going up in what used to be a parking lot, which before that was Regents and Wilson. So because we were building in that parking garage, we're building in that parking space, we needed to also begin construction of a parking garage so that there would be a place to replace those parking spaces that we had taken out.
Along with the new residence hall and parking garage, the university has planned a new renovation to the university center.
It'll be an 87,000 square foot addition plus a renovation of the existing facility. It'll finish the outside of the building and to look like the front of the building does now and be just an incredible resource for students. We want to make it open 24 hours, new food service area, a lot of areas where students can have spaces to study, spaces for group projects, things like that.
Now, with all these renovations the university is doing, students are wondering where the money is coming from and whether the recent budget cuts will affect it.
All of the projects that we have going right now are being funded either from rentals that students pay to live in the dorms. That's how the residence halls are being paid for. The parking garage and dining commons are being paid for from the revenue that we get out of parking, dining, and then our off-campus partner, Airmark, gave us $10 million to help build that facility. So at this point, we have no debt on that facility. So that's being, again, paid for through the revenues from parking and dining. And then the university center is being paid for with state dollars. So none of the projects that we have going on now will impact tuition.
Patrick says everything is scheduled to be completed on time, though they are a little concerned about the residence hall due to weather. She says if it's not available by August, they will enact Plan B, which is to keep the students in Cartmel Hall until the new residence hall is available. Once the students are out of Cartmel and it's completely offline, they will start the renovation, which is the last part of the master plan. Reporting for NewsCenter, I'm Alexis Matthews.
A woman was seriously injured Sunday in a crash after losing control of her car on Open Fork. Investigators say 40-year-old Stephanie Wilson had to be cut out of her car after it went over an embankment and hit a tree. Wilson was taken to St. Clair Medical Center before being transferred to UK Hospital in Lexington, where she was listed in critical condition. 2 minors were in the car with Wilson. They were also taken to St. Clair but for minor injuries.
The Student Alumni Ambassador celebrated Student Engagement and Philanthropy Month with a week full of events last week. NewsCenter reporter Jacob Miller was there.
All over the nation this month, students participating in events and different things throughout campus to get students involved and encourage them to give back once they graduate. So this year we've done a few things differently. Usually we just do one event during the week in the middle of the week, and this year we've expanded that to do a whole full week of SEP events. So Monday we did tag day signs across campus, and those alert students to know how much money and donations that alumni give back to help fund their college education. And then Tuesday we did a video to thank all of our alumni that give back and involved students across campus in the video. And Wednesday we did a 1,000 Thanks event, and this is students writing thank you notes to donors that have given back to the university within the past year. And on today we are doing a hot chocolate event.
It's all student donations, so just like we're doing today, like asking students for money and then giving them some hot chocolate, as you see behind me. We already are contributing to our university, and I'm still in school, and we just want to thank them for all they do for us and all their money that they give, their time that they give to us. It's important, and the cause is important, and education is important, and I'm thankful for all that Moorhead does to me.
The Student Alumni Ambassadors raised $500 in student donations. This is Jacob Miller reporting for NewsCenter.
Finally tonight, the Black Student Union held their first event of the year in Aduc Monday. Black Student Union President Legacy Carter organized the event, which had music, dancing, and encouraged socialization. There was a dance competition and a best dress contest, with the event's main competition being a poetry slam. Carter says the goal in the event was to raise awareness and educate people on the different views and interpretations of Black History Month. The event lasted for about 2 hours, and Carter tells us that they are already planning for more events for the near future. Now that's going to do it for us tonight. Remember, your news is always on NewsCenter's Facebook page and Twitter pages.
And you can catch every single NewsCenter episode on msutv.net.
On behalf of Chris Horn with weather, Kenzie Thompson with sports, and the rest of the NewsCenter team, I'm Nick Oliver.
And I'm Mary Dameron. Have a great evening. See you next week.